Hello and welcome to week 6 of this 52-week movie review challenge. This week, as part of February's Romance Month, I watched Moulin Rouge. Moulin Rouge is the 2001 film by Baz Luhrmann set in the eponymous Moulin Rouge, the French dance hall nightclub thing, for want of a better word. It's the Moulin Rouge, you know what it is. The story pretty much just follows the romance of a young up-and-coming writer, Christian, and a French courtesan, Satine. Pretty much follows these two, while there is also a character called the Duke, who is interested in Satine and is also willing to provide funding for the Moulin Rouge in order to pursue her, for want of a better word. It kind of seems a very simple plot. Now that I think about it, it's just a very basic love triangle. But no, there are a few other bits and pieces. I just don't want to go into too much detail because, as you know, I don't spoil anything in these videos. But I was actually startled at the use of modern music. I honestly didn't know that it was there. I mean, I knew they, for example, redid a version of Lady Marmalade for it. I mean, that was out and on the radio at the time. Like, I knew that much. But I didn't realise that pretty much the entire soundtrack, bar one song, was actually covers and redos of pre-existing songs. And the one song that was original, Come What May, was actually originally written from Romeo and Juliet, which apparently made it completely invalid for the Best Song Academy Award. But yeah, I was totally not expecting to have to deal with two grown men singing like a virgin to each other. That was interesting.
Oh, and we seem to have lost a large chunk of footage in the transfer. I should really get that transfer card checked. But anyway, we will continue just with, instead of my face, we've got this far more attractive movie poster, which includes the Moulin Rouge looking like a Dalek that's been dressed up. But that's beside the point. One of the things I really enjoyed was the use of colour. I mean, in sort of like the middle sort of film, you've got, as I've mentioned before, we've got the Duke and we've got Christian as two separate love interests, I guess. And there's some great use of colour in that the scenes in the Moulin Rouge itself are vibrant and full of warm colours, like your reds, your yellows, your golds, all that sort of thing. While when you sort of see the Duke in his own home territory, it's all very dark and stark blues and very subdued cold colours, and just I like colour coding as a contrast. That really sort of I just like seeing that. One thing was really great though, going back to the whole thing about music, was the use of Roxanne by the Police as a tango. It's really catchy, and I mean, I did spend the whole time thinking of Britta from Community when she's trying to sing Roxanne in that season 3 episode, Remedial Chaos Theory, but that's beside the point. I quite like that number, as a matter of fact. It sort of just stood out for me, I guess, even though Christian grossly misunderstands the point he's trying to make in that song.
Now, I'm not spoiling it or anything, but it does state the ending at the end of the first line of the film, so it's pretty much a foregone conclusion, but it takes 2 hours to get there. It sort of slips your mind, especially with all the spectacle and the massive dance numbers and the beautiful sets and costumes and just, everything looks amazing. You sort of put that fact at the back of your mind. So when it does happen, you're like, oh yeah, that was meant to happen. As for what to rate it, I'm going to give it 5 out of 7. Generally, I liked it. And I mean, everything's very well done, but I don't know, I guess romance films just aren't really my bag. Like, I still enjoyed myself, that's why I gave it 5 out of 7. But for some reason, people are thinking when I give something 5 out of 7, it means I didn't really like it that much. Which isn't the case. That's what the bottom 4 scores are for. And we'll probably get to that next week. Thank you for watching this week's movie review. Speaking of next week, next Thursday is Valentine's Day. So, we'll be watching Valentine's Day. Surprise! If you've got any comments to make about the review I've made, or any preemptive comments about next week's film, feel free to leave them down in the comments below. But until next time, tally ho.